All right, well, hello and welcome to Stock Market Mutterings for October 15th, where I'll do a little trade review and recap of the stuff that we were trading in the room, as well as try to find you some quality trade setups for tomorrow that will make you a little bit of money. As always, if you guys need help with your personal trading, take a moment to visit thelincolnlist.com. Click on the live trade room link and you can start trading with us right away. So when we talk about today, it was green, and that's good because that's 10 of the 11 trading sessions this month have been green. And all things considered, the way the market has been behaving and what it's been going through, that's been good, and the profits have been good. But we've just been taking little Rubletts here and there, just little Rubletts. But it's not about the money sometimes. It's more of a testament of what patience, waiting for the right types of setups can do for your trading. Now, this is something that's been the theme ever since I started doing these market mutterings, because the moment I started doing these on a daily basis, the market starts correcting. And I know for some of you, this is the first time that you're going through a scenario like this, or it's been a while since you have. And the theme here for us, just trading right now until otherwise proven different, is that we are short sellers into strength and we are buyers into significant weakness on these stocks. This is just from a day trader's view right now, not for investing or swing trading. It's completely different, but just from a day trader's viewpoint, that's sort of the theme that we have. And one of the other things we've been talking about a lot in these market mutterings, especially to you newer traders, who are just trying to get through this or learn this or try to understand this, that theme continues to be in a market like this where you have such extreme whipsaw action of back and forth, heavier ranges. You have no choice but to lower your position size, be much more patient, take less trades, all that stuff. Your discipline is really going to be put to the test in this type of a market. And as I've always said, the difference between a professional trader and then an amateur is really just the small things, just those little 1 to 2 decisions that you make every month. So when you're trying to go from an amateur to a pro, remember, one of the biggest things that makes you successful is your discipline. And in a market like this, it will test both your patience and your discipline. So let's talk about what we were thinking. Again, as I said just a minute ago, we're short sellers into strength, buyers into weakness. So what I like to normally do on a Monday is I kind of like to give myself a little bit more time before I start taking trades. Mainly that's because of my age, but mostly it's just my thought process. I'm just a naturally slow thinking human being. I have ever since I was a kid. So I kind of feel like once Friday market closes, I'm so burnt to a crisp that by Sunday, I've completely forgot about what actually did happen on Friday. So I got to kind of refresh myself. And then when the market opens on Monday, I'm like, let me just get a feel for what's going on there. So I'm kind of a slow starter. Anyway, what was kind of happening today is you were just slightly there in the red to start. And some of these things gapped down. So that first move early on was some nice little bounces that came off of the bottom. Now, until things change, there's just absolutely no way I'm going to chase strength first thing in the morning. I've talked about that in these last few mutterings. There's no way I'm going to buy into a couple of parabolic candles to start the day in this schizo market. There's no way. And once these things started to bounce, I was kind of looking for something that would set up nice short. And the first one that just came to our attention was Wayfair. If you look at Wayfair, it had a pretty good gap down. And I thought this would be a nice little buy, but obviously, my slowness, I missed it. That's why I like shorting stocks so much. It's hard to miss a short. It's easy to miss a long. But you get a really big bounce. I mean, when you're looking in terms of range, this thing fills in the gap first at 117, then bounces all the way up to 121. So you're looking like a $3.50 to $4 bounce on this stock within just a couple of minutes. And again, this is what I continue to preach in this market. Maybe you'll get away with 1 or 2 of them, but you have got to be out of your mind right now to be buying something like this after it's already moved $3 in 5 minutes off the bottom. Now, if you're an investor or you're somebody that's going to hold this position, that's different, okay? I don't want to be critical about that. If you're down here nibbling on some longer term buys, that's completely different. We're talking about day trading, and if you're trying to make bank here, this is a bad idea in this market to chase it. Now, you might get away with 1 or 2, but as I said in the beginning, it's all about patience and discipline, and you're going to build some terrible habits. It's going to kick your ass later on that you're going to wish you didn't do. So anyway, rant over on that. Once it got up there towards the gap, we decided, look, we're going to start shorting this thing because I just see across the board, again, less technical analysis in this market for me and more common sense. We just started looking across the board. Things were fading, markets pulling, and it's just like, you know what? Forget this. These things are, you're just not going to bounce. You're just not, I dare you, basically. I'm daring you to bounce. I'm daring you to push against us. Do it. And it didn't. And this was a really, really nice trade. I mean, a really, really good trade. We covered up down there. Could have got a little bit more, but again, I don't want to sit here and just be greedy on the shorts because I got this thing in the back of my mind that, well, maybe we're going to get this snapback rally. Now, that pretty much concluded Wayfair. I didn't see much towards setups later on. Obviously, hindsight, there was a nice little bounce down here at support, but I was looking at some other things, and I just was not interested at the time at trying to pick up longs. Now that left us a little bit later on just kind of looking around for good quality setups, because when you start the day out like that and then you're getting all this back and forth action, you know, you don't want to just sit here and make senseless trades for no reason. You've got to have a reason and an idea and all that good stuff. Anyway, let's move on. Once the market started getting down really low and all these things started reaching max range or really getting steep to the downside, I hate shorting in the hole, which is something I've mentioned as well. So I'm looking for some good quality reversals. Now, normally in a much more docile market, less volatile market, I'm a little more aggressive on those dip buys. I'll go in with feeler sizes, I'll add on the way down. That's just my style. I'm not saying that's religion. I'm just saying that's the way I roll, and that's the way I've done it. But in this market, I'm just not willing to do that because those, you know, when I do something like Netflix or NVDA a couple of months ago, maybe it would get away from me by $1 or $2, and I felt really comfortable about getting out of that trade. Here it might go down 12 or 18. I mean, we've seen the other day, again, Netflix going down $26, $27 at one point. So you got to be really cautious. You got to be tight with those stops, and you really have to wait. So this was one of those stocks we waited for the right setup. We waited for some time to pass, and then later on we got a real nice range break right here. Just look at this upper chart, just kind of coming out of this cluster. Now that's an erratic cluster by all means. It's not the tightest consolidation that you're ever going to see, but nonetheless this trade worked out real good. Now in this case, what I have been doing with my longs, as I've been saying, is that when these things rip, then, you know, I'm just taking half right away. And you'll look at if you look back at the brokerage statement there that I posted, I took half of this thing pretty quick, and then I let the other half go. I kind of let it pull back a little bit further, but this was VWAP at the time, was down about right where I sold it. Yes, it did come back up. But again, I don't know that when it's happened. I'm not going to profess that I know exactly how to trade through everything. So it was already a really good gain. The last thing I wanted it to do was make a new low and then make another one. Like I said, it did kind of bounce a little bit under VWAP and come back up. Obviously, if I would have held, I would have made some more money, but I was pretty happy with the trade, the way the trade went. And all things considered, the way the market's been acting, I'm erring on the side of caution here, obviously. If these things are going to go, they're going to have to move and continue to move rather than make these deep pullbacks, because this pullback here was like $2 to $3, and then it goes back up $6 or $7. I mean, that's just what you've got to deal with in this market. So you either have that option, if you're going to trade, you've got to lower the size so you don't get shaken out of these positions, or you just don't trade at all. That's the choice that you have to make, in my opinion, because if you continue to be aggressive in something like this, things can turn. Now, it looked at one point, that was all the trades I had. Everything else after that, I just didn't see anything for the remainder of the day. I was still thinking that maybe once some of this stuff started grinding up, we would see some nice longs. And the market looked like that's what it was trying to do. It spent more time trying to fight its way green than make new lows, which is something that we haven't really seen lately. So late in the day here, you start getting a little juice to the upside. It's a pretty good look too, because it's starting to press through that, well, it did press through the 200 moving average, and it looks like it's ready to take out Friday's highs. There's a little bit of short-term resistance there in that 277. So as it's starting to press through 277, you're like, okay, look, we're back above the 200-day moving average. We have the opportunity here to maybe start, pile on a late day run. And then of course this Saudi news comes out, which wasn't really good here for the market. Now, I'm not going to be one to judge what the quality of news and whether it should impact the market or not. It just happened to be very timely. It was just one of those things here, and that started this late day sell-off. and down here yet. So the market is really, what that tells you though, it's not so much the news as much as the sensitivity to the news, because we've had big news stories hit this market over the last several years. It's just shrugged it right off and made a new high. But it's very, very sensitive right now, and anything like a gust of wind can come by and down this market will go. It's just like almost looking for a reason to just, you know, melt everyone's face off right now and just rip their money right from their account. That's what it's like. It's like a Tasmanian devil market, right? Just wants to claw at you and just chew your face off. So that's as we start going through tomorrow, nothing has changed over this last week and a half of this type of action, and that's you can't rally. Where is this rally? Everything that has gone up has come right back down. It hasn't even stayed up there long enough for you to take a picture of it, right? I mean, it's just messy behavior. I mean, look at it. You got a bounce here today. I mean, just look at this. It's like a heart monitor or a lie detector test, right? It's bizarre. Very, very bizarre. So it's like really your time frame and your time horizon of thinking has been reduced. So going forward, I can't see where's the bull case. This may change in any second, obviously, but when you're starting to think about your trade, your trading plan, and thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, it's like for the last 2 weeks, everything that's ripped has been a short. Show me something, maybe 1 or 2 stocks you could find that have held a gain. Everything else is just getting taken out clean. So again, that's going to be the thought process for me going forward, is shorting rips, buying these big dips. That's just going to be the way it is until you can stick a rally that lasts longer than 25 minutes. Now, speaking of that, there are a few stocks to take a look at here for tomorrow. I'm not much of a weed trader, but today was kind of like weed day. These things are creeping back up, especially this CGC. Now, there's just no way I'm going to chase up into this type of strength. These things are obviously volatile without the market behaving like it is. But somehow they were all hot, you know, the big stocks a couple weeks ago, and all this, you know, kind of snuck around here. You're starting to get accumulated again. You can look at TLRY here. Same thing. It's actually starting to break up out of range, especially if it gets above 172. Now, this is extremely volatile, going up $17 a day or down $17 a day. But again, when you're looking at it here, I have to say that this is somewhat impressive here. I mean, I know it's a joke. I get it. It probably goes to zero in its near future. But right now, I mean, I know the 300 move was garbage, but hey, it's settled into a rhythm here, and for well over a month, it's maintained its gain. It's held right there in the middle, and now you're starting to see it curl back up. So watch this. I mean, you might get it. You've got MJ to take a look at, CGC, and TLRY. I mean, these possibly could be plays that continue on to the upside here for the next day. Again, they're also very volatile, but hell, the whole market's volatile. You just got to wait for the right setup with these. You just don't run in and buy them. Now, there were a couple that were kind of strong here today. If this OLED starts getting frisky tomorrow, I don't have no idea what it was doing up $3.20. People must have forgot about it and just forgot to sell shares or something today, because this stock's been getting beat up too. I think if you see any green on this thing tomorrow, that is a short, you know. And again, it's short until you can start squeezing me a little bit, you know, especially stuff like this freaking NVDA. I mean, yeah, NVDA just getting, I mean, this thing just can't even stick a bounce, period. So I want to look at these weed names tomorrow. Let's just try that, see how they play out. Again, I don't have numbers for you to say this is how it's going to go. You're going to need a nice little setup there. You obviously can't discount the fact that someday you're going to have a consistent rally and some of the volatility pulls itself out of here. But until that happens, you have to take the approach that the money is, you know, you're either, if things get frisky in the morning and they start going vertical, I know the tendency is to want to buy that stuff. But you got to be careful, man, because everything that has done that outside of these weed stocks today has given it back up. I mean, it's just sort of cash type trades where you're just hit, quit, hit, quit, hit, quit. I mean, look at the move on Tesla. You get this monstrous vert. It can't hold it. and then it turns around and comes back up the high, they can't hold it. And you know there are traders that are buying into those green candles and they're just getting smoked. And it's not like you're talking about 50 cents, a dollar stop. Some of the stuff is just the move right here in 5 minutes. It's 362 all the way down to like, yeah, 262 to 259 in less than a couple of minutes. That's radical. And then it ends up going all the way down to 255. So that's what you got to deal with here. So going into tomorrow, we'll take a peek. We'll take a gander at these weed stocks and see if they might offer a setup. I'm like iffy about it. It's like, you're going to have to really set up nice for me to want to do it. Anything that goes vertical, has high RSI, puts in big 3, 4 plus openings, it's, you know, maybe not earnings related or news related, is a short. Until that thing can build and hold, then I'll change my mind. On the flip side of that, if we do flush down $10, $12 on a Netflix, NVDA, then I'd take a look at buying. But rather than just buying on a low range because it's down so much, really have to wait for that setup. Kind of like Netflix today. So I had one short and I had one long. They both worked out. The timing on those were great. The setups on those looked nice. The risk to reward looked really good at the time. And that's how you get by, and that's how you make money. And you keep doing that. Like we said last week, you'll chip away. Some days will be good. Some days will be bad, but they won't be that bad. You'll be able to recover from them. But you keep doing that, then you'll nail a big day like we did on Friday. So we're just back to doing that again. Now, if you guys need help, as I said, visit thelincolnlist.com. You click on that trade room tab. You trade right with us live. It's on screen just like this. You see me every day. I talk you through every trade that I take and talk you through the market if that's something that you're looking for. Until tomorrow, trade well, guys. Trade well. We'll see if we can squeak out another green and put up some big numbers. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching this video. Talk to you then.